My name is Winick. I am the 9th grade team leader, the dean of students, and English teacher at Lavelle Prep. I started using Scholar last year to have my students write an argumentative essay. And the idea behind it was I really liked how the students had the opportunity to peer review and to be able to give feedback to students anonymously, to be able to see the progression of their work, to be able to see how throughout the writing process that things change in ways that they can see where they started and where they ended up. And I'm really a believer in having students understand the need of the process and not just the product. And Scholar presents itself in a way that it gives people the opportunity to be able to experience the process and document the process and make it a lot easier to see what happens and what changes. You know, when we keep things on paper, I'm terrible with paper and I've seen kids lose papers and this and that. Scholar presents a very forward-thinking 21st century minded approach to the writing process, incorporating empirically based stances as far as peer review and things like that. And I think in theory, it's a great idea. You know, the opportunity of being able to incorporate social media aspects into this type of process is pretty intriguing for them. You know, that they know social media as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram type stuff, and to be able to give an avenue to incorporate it into a learning modality is such a great idea because it's so relevant and so engaging at the same time. It's funny, you know, when you give the kids a revision guideline and they do it on paper, they don't necessarily put in all the oomph that they do with the computer. And the thing that stands out to me was the specificity, like I said, that students were able to diagnose recurring problems in their writing. And you know, that's something that I see not just as a high school teacher, but as a college, as an adjunct professor, for people who write, that a lot of the problems they have are ones that are continuous. And to be able to intervene and allow them to understand how to overcome that specific obstacle was pretty awesome to see that they were able to wrap their head around. It's something I always do, I never realized it before. The idea of them keeping drafts and finished products on paper and binders in school is tedious and time consuming. If I have access to it on a computer, I can be at home, you know, I can be on my laptop out having a cup of coffee or something like that. The idea of being able to take it with you and have access to it anywhere that you have a computer-based connection is empowering for the teacher and cuts down on the amount of time that you would spend having to keep track of the paper and take the paper with you, etc., etc. And I think that Scholar presents the opportunity for students to be engaged specifically in a writing process that is transitioning into the Common Core. For the most part, the review criteria in the past has been teacher-driven, and you know, what I may have as review criteria in my classroom may change to the next English teacher. And the one thing I've seen is that the ease of being able to program in the review criteria based on specific Common Core rubrics and having students engage in the technology and having them work on non-fiction assignments which really meet the Common Core standards is much easier in theory to go through the avenue of an